Hello everyone. Today I have a story for you. It's not just for listening practice, but also to remind you that effort really does change lives. The story is called Nothing Comes Free. This is about a young man named Eli. He was 20 years old and lived in a quiet valley town tucked between low hills and pine trees. The air was cold in the mornings, and most people knew each other by name. Eli had big dreams. He wanted to own his own food business one day. Not just one shop, a whole chain of little bakeries where people could come in, smell fresh bread, and feel at home. But dreams and reality didn't match yet. Eli's family was doing their best just to get by. His dad, Daniel, worked in a garage fixing engines. His mom, Mara, cleaned houses 3 days a week. His little sister, Leela, was 11 and thought Eli could do anything. She followed him around and called him boss. Money was always tight. Bills came faster than paychecks. Some nights dinner was just soup and bread. One winter evening, Eli sat on the front steps with a blanket over his shoulders. The sky was full of stars. He whispered to himself, I want to give them more, a better house, less stress. But how do I start when we can barely cover this month? The next morning at breakfast, he told his dad about the idea. Daniel put down his mug and said, Ali, listen, nothing in life is handed to you. If you want something, you start with what's in your hands, even if it's small, especially if it's small. That sentence stuck in Ali's head all day. While walking through town, he noticed something. People loved fresh bread, but the only bakery was a 40-minute bus ride away. By the time people got home, the bread was cold. An idea formed. What if he brought the bread to them? There was one problem. He had no money to buy bread in bulk. So Eli decided to take a risk. He walked all the way to the edge of town to meet Mr. Hale, the bakery owner. Mr. Hale decided to take a risk. Hale was in his 60s, quiet, and did trust people easily. Eli stood straight and said, Mr. Hale, I want to sell your bread in the valley. I don't have money up front. Can you trust me for 1 week? I'll sell it, bring you your money back, and keep a little for myself. Mr. Hale looked at him over his glasses. And why should I trust a kid I've never seen before? Because I'm serious, Eli said. I'll show up every day. I'll work. If I don't pay you back in 7 days, I won't come back. There was a long silence. Then Mr. Hale nodded once. Fine. 1 week. Don't make me regret it. Eli almost ran home. At 5 a.m., the next day he was at the bakery door. He loaded 2 big baskets of bread onto a borrowed handcart and walked them back to the town center. He set up near the small park where parents took kids in the morning. Fresh bread. Still warm, he called out. At first people just walked past. They didn't know him. So Eli did something simple. He cut small slices and handed them out. Try it. If you like it, buy a loaf. By 10 a.m., he had his first 3 customers. By 2 p.m., the baskets were empty. He counted the money carefully on the walk back. It was too much, but it was profit. That evening, he paid Mr. Hale in full. The old man counted the bills and said, You were back. Good. Come tomorrow. From that day, Eli's routine was set. Up at 4 a.m., walk to the bakery, load the cart, walk back, sell until it was gone. Home. Repeat. After about 2 months, he had saved enough to buy his own cart with wheels that did to wobble. He could carry more bread now. More customers started recognizing him. Kids waved. Grandparents asked how his mom was doing. One afternoon, a regular customer, Mrs. Patel, said to him, Eli, you sell really well, but have you thought about baking your own? If you baked, you'd keep more of the profit. The idea hit him like a spark and a scare at the same time. He had never baked in his life. That night he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking. If he wanted to grow, he could stay dependent. But growth meant learning something new, and learning meant mistakes. He remembered what his dad said. Nothing is free. The next morning, after paying Mr. Hale, Eli asked, Sir, would you teach me how to bake? Mr. Hale frowned. Why? If you bake, you won't need to buy from me. I won't forget who gave me my start, Eli replied. And if I grow, I'll send people your way too. I just need someone to show me the basics. Mr. Hale studied him for a long time. Baking is not easy. It's early mornings. Burned hands. Dough that one rise. If you're serious, be here at 3 a.m. tomorrow. Ali nodded so fast he almost dropped the bread. So it began. 3 a.m. in a hot, flour-dusted kitchen. Mr. Hale showed him how to measure, how to mix, how to knead until his arms shook. The first loaves came out like bricks. The second batch was too soft and collapsed. One night after ruining a whole tray, Eli sat on a stool and felt like quitting. His back hurt. His hands were raw. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, he thought. Then he heard his dad's voice in his head again. Start with what you have. He took a breath. Mistakes were lessons. Quitting was the only real failure. The next morning he was back. And the morning after that. Slowly, the bread got better. The crust was golden. The inside was soft. After 2 weeks, Mr. Hale handed him a loaf and said, "This one is good. You ready?" Eli felt proud in a way he hadn't felt before. He rented a small second-hand oven and set it up in the corner of their kitchen. Lila helped him wrap the bread in paper. Mara made tea late at night while Eli shaped dough. Daniel fixed a wobbly table so they had more workspace. Soon Eli was just selling bread. He tried rolls, then simple cookies. People started saying, Eli's bread tastes like home. Business was picking up. For the first time, Eli felt like the dream was impossible. Eli's little kitchen operation was working. Every morning the smell of bread filled the house. Neighbors would knock just to ask, "Is that fresh today?" Leela was in charge of labels. She drew little wheat stalks on each paper bag with a marker. Mara kept a notebook of who paid and who owed. Daniel built shelves so they could store more flour. For a while, life felt steady. Money was coming in. Eli could buy better ingredients. He even paid Mr. Hale a bonus one week and said, "Thank you for the start." But then something changed. A new bakery opened 2 streets over. It was bright. Big glass windows. A painted sign that said, "Golden Crust." The owner was Nolan, a guy about Eli's age who had just moved back after studying in the city. He had funding, fancy display cases, and a team of 3 bakers. Within 2 weeks, people were talking about it. They have croissants. Their cakes look like art. The shop is so clean. The shop is so clean. Eli noticed it first in his numbers. His sales dropped. Not a lot, but enough to worry him. One day he sold half a cart and came home early. He sat at the table and stared at the leftover loaves. Leela asked, "Boss, are we in trouble?" He forced a smile. "No, we were just learning." That night, he did sleep. He kept asking himself, what if this is it? What if I lose everything? The next morning he did something different. Instead of panicking, he listened. He went to the park and talked to customers. "Can I ask you something honest? What do you like about the new bakery? What could I do better?" People were kind. Golden Crust looks pretty. Their cakes have flowers and colors. Their shop smells nice when you walk in. Eli wrote it all down. He realized something important. He didn't need to copy Nolan. He needed to grow. He had some savings, so he used it. He painted his cart a warm yellow. He added a small chalkboard with the menu written in Lila's handwriting. He bought a few glass jars and filled them with cookies so people could see them. Then he did the hardest part. He taught himself new skills. The town library had an old computer. After closing, Eli would sit there for an hour watching videos about cake decorating, about packaging, about customer service. He practiced piping icing on parchment paper at home until his wrist cramped. He also started offering samples again, but this time with a twist. "Try the new cinnamon roll. If you don't like it, tell me and I will make it better next time." People appreciated that. Slowly, customers came back. Not all of them, but enough. One evening, an elderly woman named Mrs. Rowe bought a loaf and stayed to talk. She said, "I've watched a lot of young people start things and quit when it gets hard. You did, Teet. That's why I trust you." Eli thanked her. Her words stayed with him for days. 3 months later, Eli made a big decision. He had saved enough to rent a small storefront. It was big. It was fancy like Golden Crust. But it had big windows, a working oven, and space for a counter. He called it Ali's Hearth Bakes. Painted the walls cream. Put up wooden shelves he and Daniel built together. Lila made a sign with her drawing of a loaf and a sun. Opening day was cold but busy. People came to support him. Mr. Hale showed up and bought 2 loaves without saying much, then nodded and left. That meant a lot. For the next several months, Eli's shop became part of the town's routine. Mornings were for bread. Afternoons were for pastries. Saturdays were for special orders. Lila worked the counter after school. Mara handled the money. Daniel fixed anything that broke. Eli learned how to manage time, waste, and people. He learned that a business is just baking. It's remembering names. It's smiling when you were tired. It's fixing mistakes before customers notice them. But Eli still was satisfied. He wanted to reach more people. The next town over. Maybe even the market on weekends. He started baking earlier, experimenting more. Sourdough, seed bread, small muffins for kids. He kept prices fair because he remembered what it felt like to count coins. Business grew, slowly and honestly. Then, just when things felt stable, life tested him again. It was late fall. A storm was rolling in. Eli was closing shop, wiping counters, when he smelled something sharp. Smoke. He turned and saw a small flame near the back oven. A spark had caught some paper towels. His heart jumped. He grabbed the fire extinguisher, then water, and put it out fast. But the damage was done. The oven was scorched. 2 shelves were warped. Some equipment was ruined. He stood on his hands, looking at the mess. The next morning, word spread. People came by. "Oh, no, Eli. That's terrible. Maybe it's time to take a break." Eli felt it. The fear, the exhaustion, the thought, maybe this is too much. But then he thought about the last 2 years. The cart. The 3 a.m. lessons. The first sale. The customers who believed in him. He stepped outside and said to the small crowd, "The shop is hurt, but we were not done. I've had hard days before. This is just another one." Inside, he sat down and made a list. What could be saved? What needed to be replaced? How much money did he have? It was enough. Not even close. For a moment, the fear came back. But Eli remembered Mr. Hale's words from the first day. If you want something, you fight for it. So he decided to fight differently this time. He would ask for help. He walked to Mr. Hale's house. The old man was retired now, tending a small garden. "Sir," Eli said, "I need advice. If this happened to you, what would you do?" Mr. Hale looked at him and smiled a little. "Eli, you already know. You've taught yourself this whole time. Nothing comes free. You work. You stay honest. And people notice." That night, Eli made a plan. He would bake from home again, with the one small oven he still had. He would tell customers the truth. "We had a fire. I am still baking, just in smaller batches for now." He did wait to be rescued. He started. And that's when something unexpected happened. The town started showing up for him.